Hello friends, welcome to this introductory session. Myself Dr. Ashok Jadhav from Department of Electronics, DSM College, Pardani. I shall be engaging you for paper number 7, that is microprocessor and its application. Actually, we are going to study how computer works and what is there inside the computer and how they perform several operations. In short, we are going to study architecture of computer, and for that, we need to discuss some basic aspects, and we need to draw elementary block diagram of computer systems. So let us draw that. So friends, this is the block diagram of computer system. Any computer can be represented by this elementary block diagram. What it shows? It shows the essential components of any computer. For any computer, we have some kind of input device. What is the function of input device? It converts a man-readable language like our English language, Marathi, Urdu, etc. That man-readable language is converted into binary. Okay. Why binary? Because you know that digital computer operates on binary numbers only. They process binary numbers only. They recognize binary numbers and they give the output in the binary format, and therefore there must be input device to convert man-readable language into machine language, that is binary language. Then there is an important component of any computer, that is storage. We call it as a memory, and this is the block where all the instructions which we give to computer, of course everything goes in the form of binary numbers. That instructions along with the data, we call it as a operand, operation, and on data, that is operand. All these things must be provided in the memory because all the computers operate or works on stored program concept. What computer will do, that is decided by the stored program in the memory. Also, memory is required to store the result, process the data, right? Then there is the main component. You can call this as brain and heart of computer system. We call it as central processing unit. It has arithmetic logic in it, or it processes, actually the data is processed in this. It performs arithmetic and logical operation on binary information, and it gives the output in the form of binary. Then every computer should have some kind of output device. What is function of output device? It accepts the processed information data in binary form and produces the output in desired form. The kind of output device depends upon the kind of output you want. Many times it is a computer screen where we want the information, text and figures. Sometimes you may want result to be printed on paper. You may want result in the graph form. Or you may want to store that result or process information in the memory. So that is the function of output device. Machine language to man readable form. So memory provides program, memory provides data, and also memory can be used to store the information. This memory has two parts. One part is read-only memory, ROM, and other part is random access memory. We call it as a RAM, ROM and RAM. ROM means read only. Read only means it is programmed only once. The information written is there, and central processing unit cannot read, cannot write this part of the memory. CPU can read only, and that's why it is called as a read only memory. This is permanent type of memory. We also call it as a non-volatile memory because it retains its information even if its power supply is switched off. So that's why it is a permanent form, and it is required to store monitor program like operating system and the frequently required data. Okay, we shall discuss this later. Then other part of the memory is random access memory. Actually, it is read write type. Read write means you can understand this central processing unit can read content of this memory as well as central processing unit can write into this memory. That's why it is a read write, and it is a temporary memory. It is a volatile memory because it loses its content the moment the power supply to it switches off. So it doesn't retain the information. That's why I call it as a temporary memory. But it is required. It is used as a scratch pad. Scratch pad, we have used the scratch pad in school. Suppose this is a scratch pad. I can write something here. I can perform, and again I can erase it. I can write here once again. So several times you can write and erase it and write and erase it. That is scratch. So this memory, read write memory is like a scratch pad, and it is required to store our programs temporarily, to store our files temporarily whenever required. So this is how we can discuss the working of computer. The main thing is that central processing unit is the master. It has control on all the blocks in the system. It generates timing and control signal in order to control this. So this is a can say elementary block diagram, elementary functions of blocks in a computer. So in earlier days, this CPU was made up of separate sections. It has actually, just we have discussed, it has arithmetic and logic unit. That means it can perform arithmetic and logical operation. Then it has timing and control unit. This unit actually generates the can say the timing pulses that controls all the devices, and that what should do in order to control reading operation, writing operation, that one after the other, all the control signals are required and that are generated by this section. So it has arithmetic logic unit, it has timing and control unit, and it also has one important section, that is clock generator. Now, before going to this clock generator, just let me give one example. In order to proper coordination, you can think on global level or national level or state level, or let us consider the example of our college. For better coordination and administration of the college, we have timetable. What it states, there is some class at 7:30 a.m. Then there is a second class, say for example 8:20 a.m. and there is a practical in the particular lab at 2:30 p.m. You can understand this. What is that, say 8:20 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. or whenever I say that we shall meet tomorrow at 8 a.m. You can easily understand. Why? Because all we share the same clock. We share the same time base, and our all activities, day-to-day activities, are coordinated by a common clock. We call it as a common time base, or we call it as the Indian Standard Time. You know that. So similarly, this is also a system, and there must be the proper coordination. This is to be done right now. After they do this, do that, and at the end do this. What is this? There is a proper sequence, and for that there must be some means of timing coordination, and for that there is a clock generator. Actually, clock generator just what it does, actually it generates the pulses like this. Say this is the time axis and here it say output voltage. This is the zero level. So output goes high, remains high for short interval, then becomes zero, then remains there, then becomes high, remains there, becomes zero, and so on. Goes high, goes low, and again this cycle is repeated. This is cycle 1, this is cycle 2, this is cycle 3, and say cycle 4. The time is about say T, time period to complete one cycle. That is time required to complete one cycle. So this is 1T, 2T, 3T, 4T. That means on the board I have shown you a time duration of 4T, where T is the time period of that square wave oscillator. So such time square wave is generated in the computer and every operation is coordinated by this. When I say that particular instruction requires the 3 T's, other instruction requires 70 to execute. That means it will take 70s, where T will be decided by the speed of the central processing unit, and that decides the speed of overall computer system. Just like you can compare this T with our second, you can understand interval time interval second, 2 second, 3 second, and 4 second, and how we use this second. You can easily say that particular vehicle is moving at say 10 meter per second. So you can understand meaning of that. So similarly, all the operation computer are coordinated by such a time, and that circuit is called as a clock generator. Okay, so in central processor unit is made up of arithmetic logic unit, timing and control unit, and the clock generator. So earlier we had all the three sections separately and then we interface them. But with the development in semiconductor technology, it has become possible to fabricate all these three units: arithmetic logic unit, timing and control unit, and the clock generator in a single integrated chip. We call it as a IC, and that IC means all the three circuits in a single package, and that IC is named as microprocessor. You can understand the meaning of this. Micro stands for micro, so it is very small in nature, and all the components are fabricated in the single integrated circuit. Therefore, the micro, and it processes the data. Therefore, it is called as a processor. So, microprocessor. We invented this microprocessor long back in 1970s, and every 2-3 years still microprocessors are being evolved and we get new version of microprocessor. So this CPU is then replaced by a single chip. This large circuit is replaced by a single chip, and then we are going to call it as microprocessor unit. Okay, and then any computer system which uses microprocessor as its CPU, that system is called as a microcomputer. So any microprocessor based system can be termed as or can be called as microcomputer. So naturally the next article in following lecture will be the microprocessor based system, and that is the beginning of our syllabus. So let us stop here. Bye.